Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Komar, Director of the NBT Jazz Band, as well as the newly formed Linwood School Jazz Band. I'm so glad you could join us in our celebration of jazz in North Brunswick, as well as closing out Music in Our Schools Month. You are in for a real treat as we feature performances from past jazz nights, current projects from Linwood, middle school, and high school, as well as an alumni spotlight interview with a real budding star in the jazz world. As you know, the pandemic has impacted the way in which we make music, and I'm proud to say that in North Brunswick, we have found ways to keep music meaningful in the lives of all of our students. Thank you to our wonderful administration, Superintendent Dr. Zakowski, Music Supervisor Mr. Egan, all of our principals, and all of our K-12 music teachers for continuing to support the arts in North Brunswick and sharing your passion with all of our students. Because of this team, we keep jazz alive and thriving in North Brunswick. To start off, here's a clip from our last in-person jazz night featuring the former Livingston Park Jazz Band. You can still hear most of these kids still swinging over at the middle school with Mr. English. Check it out. 2, 1, 2, 3, On that solo in Rock Around the Clock, you had Miss Estella Lopes over on alto saxophone. Let's check her out now as a 7th grader, performing a duet alongside fellow LP saxophone alumni, Mr. Brian Lynn. Amazing job by both Brian and Estella. One of my joys in this position is getting to work not with just amazing students, but such wonderful colleagues, and few compare to North Brunswick staple, Mr. English. Check out the new North Brunswick Middle School Jazz Band under his direction. how well those kids are doing virtually, we really can't wait to hear what they'll do once we're back in person. Speaking of new groups, let's check in on the Linwood Jazz Band performing a short excerpt of the Milt Jackson classic, Bags Groove. Next, we'd like to do a short feature on alumni Mr. Ian Young, class of 2017. Ian is currently in his final year over at Mason Gross School of the Arts over at Rutgers with a concentration in jazz studies on bass and trombone. Check out some excerpts of this interview we did a few days back highlighting his experiences here in North Brunswick, Rutgers, and what he's currently up to as a musician. Enjoy. How that translate to you starting trombone? You know, that was kind of your main axe, and how did that get started?
Well, playing guitar definitely didn't lead into playing trombone, but my dad, as a multi-instrumentalist, really showed me that, hey, you don't really have to focus on just one instrument. You could really have a lot of fun playing any instrument you can get your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of kept that mentality as I went through school, where when I finally got to middle school and I was uh, uh, all these resources were made available to me, like all of the brass instruments, like the trombones and the trumpet and tubas and upright basses, cellos, violas, all of those instruments I never had access to, but I was always um, kind of put on to the idea that you could just practice and play any instrument.
Yeah, which
So
that's really
that's
cool,
how I
man.
really
Because
started.
because for you too, you know, you're pretty accomplished as a multi instrumentalist, which kind of takes me to my next question. You know, what you're currently at Mason Gross over at Rutgers. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing there, what you're studying, and maybe what you're doing even outside of Rutgers a bit.
Okay, so I started going to Rutgers in the fall of 2017. Um, and it has been a really fun experience. I'm getting my jazz studies degree. Specifically, I was on bass as of today, but I still study trombone and bass throughout. I started on trombone, and then for 2 years, and then I switched over to bass to finish it off, so I could really get an education on both and have private lessons with those teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that's what my main degree is, even though I love taking all these other classes like in agriculture and like I took this class called starting and managing a small farm and plants and people and um so you kind of just get a if you really uh recognize that Rutgers is like an opportunity to like really check out any subject you want as opposed to just getting your assigned degree. You can really have a lot of fun with it.
No,
Just get
definitely.
whatever you consider as a full education.
Absolutely. Plants and People definitely a Rutgers or Mason Gross standby for classes.
Completely.
So I guess the little last question I have for you is, you know, you've done so many things in North Brunswick. You've done so many things, in the community outside North Brunswick, all over, really. For everyone that's watching, Ian's kind of playing himself down a little bit. He's done a lot of unbelievable playing with a lot of unbelievable musicians. Um, so I guess the last thing I have to ask is if you have any kind of advice or wisdom that you would want to give to students that are currently in North Brunswick going through our music program, whether they might be, just picking up a violin for the first time in third grade, or maybe a senior trombone player. What do you got for
Okay.
them?
If music is something that you are truly interested in and something that really um excites you in a way that pushes you forward, I think that you should continue to pursue it, even if you have other passions or other um, things that you have going on in your life where you say, "Oh, I can't do music full time." I mean, no one needs to. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone does anything full time, considering that you have to live as a human being. So just being able to put a little bit in every day, I think, is the most important thing out of if you want to continue as a musician.
No, that's huge, man. That's absolutely huge. It's a good point. That our goal here in this program isn't to make necessarily full-time career musicians. It's to create students and people that appreciate and love music and want to continue doing it, whether it be as a career or just for fun. We got plenty of people that I'm sure you've played with and still play with too, who maybe they work some sort of day job and they get to play at night, and it's a nice part. It's a nice thing to have in your life.
Yeah.
So
And
we
yeah, definitely I agree that being a musician does not mean that you are a great instrumentalist, like that you play your instrument really well. It really means that as a human being, as a creative, you're able to expand upon your thoughts and do it in a way that you enjoy it and that is passionate um, to you and that speaks to you.
No, we love that, man. So maybe before we part, maybe you could play a little something for us. Maybe show off a little bit of something.
Okay, I got I
You
got a
know,
little something over
you got
here.
that bass there. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear this okay?
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, great. I don't know, I'll just give you a little record me.
Great. Yeah, man. That's a little taste for you all. So, hopefully soon when this pandemic's over. I know gigs, like Ian said, they are starting to come back. You can catch Ian quite a bit over in New Brunswick. If you haven't checked it out, the New Brunswick Jazz Project has been putting out live music in New Brunswick almost throughout this whole pandemic.
Mhm.
So that's been a real blessing for us to have that so close to us. So definitely check it out.
Yes, see live music when you can.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Also, you could find some more stuff that I do at if you follow VTX Studios on Instagram. That's kind of like really what my passion project has been lately, where we're bringing up local artists and local bands that are looking for a platform where they can make a high quality recordings and videos and promote themselves properly without paying too much money for it.
Awesome, man. Well, Ian, we appreciate it. We appreciate what you continue to do for our program. You've come through to rehearsals plenty of times to, help our kids out, and hopefully together we'll be getting together soon. Play a little bit.
I hope so too. Shout out to all of the amazing teachers at MBTHS because you guys really always gave me an amazing level of support and a little push into doing what I do.
No, no, we appreciate it,
So I
man.
really wouldn't be who I am without everyone at the high school and the middle school, all the way down to the elementary schools. Like the inspiration that you guys bring, it means more than anything.
No, 100%. Well, anyway, thank you, Ian, and we'll be catching you soon.
All right, peace.
Along with Ian, we are really blessed here in North Brunswick that even after they leave us, we have students coming back, whether it be as teachers or guest artists. In our last live jazz night, we put together the first ever MBTHS alumni and friends band. You might see some familiar faces in there, like Miss Falcoman over on trombone, Daniel Choi on tenor saxophone, or how about accomplished musical theater director Mr. Bruce Dela Cruz over on piano. We're also lucky to have so many friends of the department, such as soloist and Broadway musician Mr. John DeSanto, who has also taught several of our saxophone students privately. Check him out here as we feature him on the Benny Goodman theme, Let's Dance. finish off the night, we have the NBT Jazz Band performing Bye Bye Blackbird. We'll kick it off featuring our very talented vocalist Celeste McKenzie before the rest of the band hops on in. We'll also be featuring a short piano solo by Josue Reyes. Please enjoy.
Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go, singing low. Bye bye, blackbird. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so
Before we let you go, I just once again want to say thank you to everyone in North Brunswick for your continued support of not just the jazz program, but the entire program from grades K through 12. In a time of such uncertainty, it's comforting to know that this program will always be around to serve the students and North Brunswick community. Stay safe out there as we start to get past this pandemic, and we hope to catch you next year at the same time for hopefully an in-person live jazz night. Take care and be safe.